Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in again to Earth to Claudette. So today's video topic is what I think is one of my most serious video topics yet. It's pretty intense, I think, because, in the Christian space, in the encouragement and inspirational space, it's not really spoken about or addressed directly. It's kind of spoken about indirectly. I think there are people who evangelize around this area, but I know that God is calling me to talk about this today, so I hope that it helps you in some way or someone you know. So today I'll be talking about pornography and just the wickedness of it. So God just wants me to let whoever is watching this know, if you don't already know, that pornography really is wickedness. Yes, it's marketed as something that is nice or a release and sexy, but it really is a type of spiritual wickedness, and not just a type, it is wickedness itself. If you really think about it, a lot of the people who are recruited to do these videos, many of them come from broken families, broken backgrounds. They were exploited, introduced to something like maybe sex and other vices at a very young age, and then were exploited at a young age, and then that somehow became a part of their identity. Now, there are people who will say that they chose that lifestyle, they chose that industry on their own, but many of them have come from backgrounds or have histories or stories where they were thrown into the fire, so to speak. They were violated at a young age in some shape or form, or maybe even at an older age. They were violated in the sense that they were told a lie that by doing porn that they would be promoted or be able to advance in their careers if they wanted to be actors or actresses originally, and somebody came and told them, hey, if you just do this video, you'll blow up, your career will take off, you'll get some money on the side so that you can pursue real acting. And then once they're in it, they're hooked and they've lost their sense of self. So I just want people, or whoever's watching this, and then you can also share this to other people that you know, to really consider how wicked porn really is. It's exploiting the vulnerabilities of people and, masquerading it as fun and taking pleasure in someone else's pain. Though they're doing an act that's supposed to be intimate, right? But they're doing an act that's supposed to, or seemingly results in some sort of release or pleasure. The people partaking in it are typically very much so in pain. Many of them oftentimes are high, or they're drunk, or they're not even present. They're not in their right minds when they're doing this, because how can you really be present or in your right mind doing such a personal and private act for the world and for everyone to see? So I just want whoever's watching this to know that if you watch porn, you're partaking in a wicked act. You're partaking in the pain and degradation of another person. And if you could watch someone else, and other people harm themselves under the guise of having fun, then you got to really question yourself, your own sensibilities. You got to question your own humanity, because really what the devil wants to do is to strip people of their humanity. And with their humanity, while it's not pure and outright divinity, it is a measure of divinity. God made us in his image. He said that we are gods, little g's, right? But we are still gods. So there's a divine nature that we are to have and that we are to carry. And when people partake in activities such as porn, it's really animalistic in a sense, because the viewer is devouring the essence of a person that should be kept private, and the partaker of the porn is exposing themselves and tapping into this really hedonistic, animal-like nature that really is not supposed to be for public consumption or exposure. So it is wickedness. And in the same vein, so are strip clubs. And I know that this is a thing that people don't like to talk about, especially in certain areas like Atlanta and maybe Las Vegas, but like that whole strip club culture is really toxic, and that is another level of wickedness, and that's tapped and tied into the whole pornography realm and ring and spirit, because it is a spirit, where it's like you're watching people strip themselves. That's not a natural thing. Like even Adam and Eve, you know, like after they fell, right? They felt super naked after they sinned, you know? And so I guess some people would say like, oh, if they're free in their body, they don't care. But their bodies aren't meant to be shown for everyone and be shown and displayed to pleasure everybody. Like you got to be cut off from a part of yourself to do that. And so people who partake of like strip clubs and watching women or men bare themselves and gyrate their bodies in order to stimulate some sort of pleasure for other people, they're partaking in wickedness as well, and it's not cool. And you are, when they, you know, shower them with money to reward them for whatever act that they do and perform with their bodies, it's like they're animals and pets in a circus. So they are less than their human selves. They are stepping down from their humanity, from their dignity, stripping themselves into this sort of animalistic nature. And the people who go and patronize these spots are paying money to continue that cycle of perversion. And a lot of the people who do strip, they have horrid backgrounds too. They have been violated as children, and maybe they are still acting that out by virtue of being on stage stripping or doing whatever, you know. So I just really want us to consider the type of entertainment that we take in and what that means. Like if you're a Christian, you really ought to not partake of it. And now I know that if you are younger watching this, like you've probably been exposed to it at a young age. Like I know that I was, like, you know, I had like access to this stuff, unfortunately, you know, by virtue of like home and even school. Like I would have schoolmates bring in like pornographic pictures and then just like show it to us when we were young, you know. And then it's like you had like HBO films, and then when you're young, it's like, wow, what is this? And you get trapped into this cycle of like, you know, like just exploration, because you're kind of in shock about what you're seeing or what you have seen, having been exposed to pornographic images before you really knew what they were, what it meant. So I can see how people could get caught into that at a young age. But this video is really like, if you haven't thought about it, if you are looking to get out, because it can be a trap and it really sticks into the mind. That's another element of the wickedness of pornography, is that the images take forever for them to be erased from your brain. Now, if you are a highly visual person, it really takes even longer, but it's not impossible, you know? So if you are one that watches porn and you've always wanted to stop, I pray that God grace you with a heart of compassion for the people who are actually doing the porn, that you see that it's not really what they want to do, that even if they say they want to do it or that they enjoy it, that it's not a good thing for you to be watching it, and that you are watching actually darkness, and that you're partaking in a spiritual wickedness. And so if you are someone who doesn't identify as wicked or evil, then you would stop watching that, and that you would in turn just pray for God to release you from the grip of pornography, from the desire to watch it or partake of it, and that he would help you to purify your heart and your mind and find a better outlet, to find a better sense of self, of identity, of release, of hope, of all that you need. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful. It felt kind of like rambling and a little bit of rambling and a little scattered. But I think the message is pretty clear that pornography is wickedness. And if you do not identify as a wicked person, if you don't want to go deeper into a realm of wickedness, of demonic activity, then you would do best to just stay out of that and just pray for God to help you, give you the strength and the courage to stop watching it, to find a better outlet, to heal your heart. Like if you need therapy concerning it, like sex addiction therapy or whatever type of therapy you need to get out, it's available for you. And like, you will just feel so much better. You'll feel lighter, and you'll just have a better view of people, you know, a better view of yourself. And even you be able to like hear from God and a better vision of what God has for you. All right. So God bless you. Have a great day.